pretty disastrous for this area, this region. Specifically Ometepe and in Nicaragua, kind of like post-Hurricane Mitch, as well as the big Managua earthquake. And so he came initially to Nicaragua for rehabilitation efforts. He then came to Ometepe, saw a couple different issues that he wanted to help to address. One of them was food insecurity. So Ometepe has 70% or so is agriculture based, but it's mostly rice, beans, and plantains. And so we saw a lot of malnourishment, undernourishment of kids. So his and kind of Bonafide's approach with community development is very hands off. And so it's hands off but empowerment. And so he worked with a couple women from the community to start a community center, which also took the surplus of the agricultural producing families in the community and aggregated that and provided breakfast for 70 kids in the Balgway and surrounding communities. So that's a project called Mano Amiga is now completely run by the community. And then another community collaborator has a coffee roasting business in Balgway, and so he's from Balgway. The surplus of the coffee business pay for any of the community center's needs and finances. So he doesn't want to deal with grants, doesn't want to deal with anything like that anymore. Right. So he's looking for this business to support the community center. He originally bought this property as 48 acres. Chris, who you know, Ryan, joined in 2001 as well. About 6 months later, they spent the first 6 years or so living in a tent, just planting hundreds and hundreds of trees. Yeah. This land prior was just cattle grazing. Hundreds of volunteers that have come through the program have it planted and transplanted. Starting a micro business as well. We're gonna sell some of our grains to a couple different restaurants and people in town as well. We'll sell by the pound. And then I'll show you our garden, our nursery, which is our living seed bank. Our bigger field, which is just our whole kind of zone 1 space, and then our kitchen. So we work with 7 Nicaraguan staff who are from the town of Balgway, which is where we're situated. And so each of them manages one of these sections: the nursery, the garden, 2 of them off in the field, and then we have 4 or so women that are working in the kitchen and helping us out there. And then we have a larger field crew who isn't interacting with the volunteer program, but they're help managing the larger site. And so they work with us Monday through Friday. So this is the educational garden. We experiment with a lot of seeds that we've acquired from other people on the island, from people that have brought seeds from the States. Try those out, see if they work. A lot of them don't because it's temperate climate, but some of them do. And then we save those seeds, and we're able to continue to try them out here. And we also host a seed exchange every year, a seed and plant exchange every year, where we then are able to get kind of the tested plant genetics out into the community. Basil we found, we had 6 or 8 different beds of basil. Kale that grows a lot smaller and still hardy. They call it Chimonte here.
I put a couple of those in my mouth. They're pretty intense.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
Every student group, they always want to try them out. They're like, "What is this? Can I eat it?" It's so good.
Yeah, how nice.
With our soil here is pretty clay heavy, and so some of the amendments we'll add will be volcanic sand. Traditionally, it's changing over the past few years climate-wise, but traditionally it's about 6 months of rain and 6 months of dry. And so
we get longer dry seasons there.
It gets slightly longer dry season, and shorter wet season.
When I was a kid in Panama, it was clockwork every year. 3 months of dry season.
Yeah.
Exactly. Almost to the day you could tell when it was going to be. And then when I went back years later during the Noriega thing, it was probably about a 6-month dry season.
Yeah, wow.
So people that tell me there's no such thing as climate change, I can't even.
They're not paying attention.
I don't even talk to them.
más importantes, pero al encontrarte todo se escribió.
And so we have planted tomatoes, tomatoes mostly on this side. We have peppers on the other side. There's a melon growing over here, sunflowers. And then we planted vetiver along the inside. This is a seasonal pond, and so by March or so, this whole space is mostly dry.
El amor soñado de mi corazón, haré lo posible para conservarte y poder amarte una eternidad.
And the flesh that's on the inside here is more sour. This is all ginger. And then galangal is planted in a different place. So there's a natural doctor's clinic on the island. A lot of turmeric planted down there. The idea is for us to grow it, harvest it, dry it, powder it, and then they'll encapsulate it, and then they'll use it as like a medicine.
But this is all ginger in here?
Dried pieces of it.
The rock base, and then this is all cob up here. So we've done cob and then a lime plaster. For fall, and so we just switched to that.
Was it necessary to mark the front? I mean, would somebody actually sit and face the wall?
I think
You never know.
It was more not necessarily for the person that you sitting that way, more so for the box itself. This is the space for the before.
So inside it's just the ground right there, or is there a concrete floor down there?
It's just the ground. So it grows for a minimum 6 months, and this side will be the active side, and so people are just contributing to this side. And then 6 months from now, we can harvest this side, or check, make sure that side's broken down, and then harvest it, move it around the plant. So we actually just did a natural plastering workshop where we mixed the lime with sand and water. There's about 300 plants left.
Out of 1,000, huh?
Yeah.
I was just reminded of this plant. What's it called?
Chimbre.
Oh
no,
man,
yeah.
I just got some on my leg.
It's a stinging nettle. So it'll burn
Yeah.
for a few minutes, and then there's often there's a plant that grows near it, or
Yeah.
it's called pepinillo. That you can
Definitely.
rub on your skin, and that makes it.
Let's find some. Oh man, it's so burns. Oh, I'm alright. How long does it last? You know what?
All over the
That
place.
really works, actually. Wow, almost immediately.
Normally you're minimum 1,200 meters above sea level you're getting the best coffee. But Magdalena's, where you guys are staying, is a coffee cooperative, and they have coffee growing as low as 200 meters above sea level, and it does really well.
And they attribute that to the volcanic
To the
soil.
Yeah.
Ese gusanito porque desea, yo te lo regalo pa' que lo acaricie donde tú.
It's really hard to walk down these paths and get anywhere on time, because you're just picking berries and berries.
You know, it's funny though, all these people grow them as hedges everywhere, and nobody knows they're edible in Naples.
Really?
So this is on contour here.
Yeah, so this is an example, this is a smaller swale that we have to capture some of that rain. We'll also, whenever we're pruning, we'll add those that biomass to this material, so that'll break down and continue to, so you just throw it in here. Barely underground, yeah, it just is PVC piping that goes to the citrus.
Oh really? There's a pipe directly from the gray water that goes to each citrus tree? And so with mangoes specifically, when the crowns are touching, they won't necessarily, different trees, they won't necessarily produce as much. These are some of the oldest trees really that have been planted on site, so 11, 12 13 years old. Replicating more of a true forest.
What's that palm with the spikes on it called?
Peibaye. We have 7 different types of bamboo that are 6 of which are native to this region, and then one of them we're experimenting with black bamboo, which is a Japanese bamboo, and the termites haven't figured out that they like it yet, and so we're experimenting with that. We're using bamboo as one of our primary windbreaks.
Where the pigs live.
Oh, look at the size of those leaves.
Yeah, this is their
Wow. This is what they're using the roofs out of?
yes.
Tenías la fragancia de una flor galana de Tapacalí. Tenías la dulzura del zorzal que cruza la cuerda del viento. Y la voz bajita como una mazurca.
The right and left was like in any 10 by 10 space, you would be able to survive off of the food that was in that space for at least a year. So with coconuts, each coconut has 2,000 calories, has aminos, like fatty acids, has all the nutrients that your body needs. And then there's jackfruit, and then the seed is like kind of comparable to a bean. If the seed's about that big and it's edible, like, boil it, and then you can treat it. We like to make hummus in.
Aquella lomita rodeada de pinos y de soledades, voy a sembrar la milpa que tanto hemos soñado. Sé que estás pensando que esto pertenece al Licho Mondragón.